Hello, hello. My name's Sammy, aka Four String Boy, and this kit is the Flight Nomad Tenor. Now we're back with another review today. You might have seen from my last video that Flight sent me a big box full of 5 different ukuleles in total, and so this is the one that I chose to review first. Now you might not have heard of the Nomad Tenor, because I certainly hadn't. The Nomad was released as a baritone-sized ukulele, exactly the same specs, but big old baritone tuning. So I've got to say, when I opened the box initially, I was kind of surprised because I hadn't requested one of these. I didn't know it existed, but as soon as I pulled it out of the box, I did spend a good 20 minutes going, ooh, okay. Now, honestly, I didn't quite get why Fly had released this as a tenor size until I've spent all my weeks with it. And with all those weeks with it, I've decided to rename it. I don't call it the Flight Nomad Tenor Ukulele. I've actually been calling it the Flight Fireball Lite. So, as usual, we'll break down all the specifications of the ukulele. I'll talk about the design because I love that shit. And then we'll listen to some sound samples, how the ukulele actually sounds, and my own thoughts on how it compares to the other Flight ukuleles that I've played. Okay, so the Flight Nomad Tenor retails for €299. The body and the top, all of it is made from solid mahogany, and that is finished with a nice clear gloss. I have to say that I'm really happy that they didn't decide to dye it or paint it or anything, because the mahogany on this model absolutely shines through. So just kind of letting the mahogany speak for itself was a great choice. There's a very sneaky beveled armrest just tucked away here. Weirdly, it's a little smaller than the ones I've seen on the Flight models, but when putting my arm on it, it's in the exact right place it needs to be, so it works great. We have a rosewood string-through bridge and fretboard, and pretty much just like all the other Flight Tenor models, we have an African mahogany neck with a nice satin finish. We have 19 frets, 38mm nut, which is my favourite, fret markers in all the normal places, but we even have a 3rd fret, which is a nice rarity. We have some side-facing geared tuners. These are the same exact tuners that this traditional Flight headstock kind of always comes with. And this headstock is black, and it is very glossy. Now, an interesting one, there's actually no pickup installed on this. I can't think of another ukulele, another Flight Tenor ukulele from the Royal series that hasn't come with the C1U pickup already installed. Apart from the obvious, which is the Flight 4SP. So whether you like your ukuleles with or without a pickup, I just think it's a nice option that we can buy some that don't have a pickup. When I look at my collection of ukes, I have pickup ones and pickup less options, and I don't feel like every ukulele I own needs a pickup. So if you're not a pickup person, it's nice that this has that option. Or if you do want a pickup, then you can just install whatever pickup you like into it. That's always the best of both worlds. And as usual, it'll come with a nice standard Flight red padded gig bag. This is the same model they use for all the Royal series. It's a great gig bag. Okay, so let's talk about design. The Flight Nomad Tenor looks exactly the same as the Flight Nomad Baritone. And that's not a bad thing at all, because I feel like the Nomad has like a real simple elegance to it. And really looking at it, it reminded me of another uke that I fell in love with for its simple elegance. And that's the Flight Fireball. Now, just like the Fireball, we have this black cutaway here, and that goes into the black binding all around the uke. And like I said, it does kind of just curve here for this lovely little armrest. Now, all of that black trim matches for our black sound hole ring thing. It's maple dyed black, and again we have a lovely matching black headstock, which I really appreciate. It again, as I've said millions of times, when things are uniform on an instrument, I think it looks really tidy. Now, talking of this headstock in particular, this is a weird one because I've seen this headstock many times. It's always attached to the baritone models of Flight ukuleles. So the Aurora, the Maya, the Nora, the Lily. I'm sure I'm forgetting all the models, but essentially they all have this headstock. I've never actually seen this headstock on a tenor uke before. But I'm glad it's made its way to a tenor because I think it looks really nice on this size ukulele. So also, just like the Fireball, this has been the ukulele I've kind of picked up the most just to examine the grains and accents in all of the wood. Now, having a non-dyed, non-painted ukulele isn't new. It's majority what we see for ukuleles. But just something about this wood here, and like I said, in the gloss finish versus the black, I've just been picking up and examining it all and just kind of admiring the beauty of it. And like I said, really the last time I spent this much time just staring at a ukulele and examining the wood is very much like the Fireball models, because that mango always comes with like different figuring and everything like that. And so, yeah, it brought me nostalgia for the Fireball. Now, the fret markers are interesting. They're one I haven't seen before, and they remind me of video games. They essentially look like the portals from the video game Portal, or actually, if you hold the ukulele like this, they remind me of the rings that you collect from Sonic. They also look pearlescent, which gives them like a 3D kind of effect. I'm a massive fan. They look really, really, really nice. And so, design-wise, hopefully you can see why I've been calling this kid the Fireball Lite. It essentially very much looks like its sister. But how does it sound? So just before we talk about sound, we always have to talk about strings, because they do make a massive difference. The Flight Nomad Tenor comes strung with the Flight Brazilian fluorocarbon strings. These are the same strings you'll find on the Flight Iris or older Flight models. Usually for their newer Royal Series, we end up seeing Worth Browns instead. And there's nothing wrong with these fluorocarbons, but I find that if it's a thinner gauge fluorocarbon, something that gives it a bit more zing to it, I think the ukulele would pop a lot more. And again, I'm thinking back to the Fireball, the Comet, anything like that kind of has a mellow sound. So for me, all I would do is slap a pair of Uke Logic soft tension strings on this. I think it would give an even greater clarity and a nicer sound. I did exactly the same with my Flight Iris. It came with these exact strings. Again, they're fine, but the difference in string, Uke Logic soft tensions, really is night and day. Now, sadly, because this kid's on loan, I can't restring it. So I'm just going to have to imagine how it would sound with some nicer strings on it. But in the sound sample, you'll be hearing these exact strings. So if you go and buy one new, this is exactly how it's going to sound. So, sound sample time. I'm going to do some strumming, I'm going to do some fingerstyle, and for shits and giggles, I'm going to do some harmonics, so you can hear how it sounds in a variety of different styles. And if you'd love to be able to play all these techniques really confidently and kind of sound like I do on the ukulele, then you should probably check out my online ukulele membership, 4-String Friends. With 4-String Friends, you'll get access to a bank of ukulele lessons. We cover different techniques on the ukulele, we cover music theory and how to actually use it on the ukulele to improve your knowledge and playing. And you get access to my in-depth lessons on my Fingerstyle Thursday series. That means you essentially learn little etudes. They're essentially like exercises. They train both of your hands whilst also having an achievable goal. You'll just see yourself getting better and better and better the more you play them. And also add on top of that, you'll get 4 new lessons a month, which you are free to join me live along with the other 4-String Friends. Access to every tab of every arrangement I've ever made, and the whole collection of my Fingerstyle Thursday books. So for the year's membership, you'll get 48 brand new lessons throughout that year, and that's on top of the 100+ lessons and workshops that are already available waiting for you to watch. And all for the same price that I would charge for 2 private lessons. Check out 4stringboy.com or check the link in the comments to read more and get your ukulele improving today. Okay, sound sample time. Let's listen to the Flight Nomad Tenor. So now you've heard it, what do you think? My overall summary and review of this ukulele, the mahogany obviously gives it a very nice mellow and warm sound, but it does not sacrifice any volume or output with that either. I've spent a good few weeks with this ukulele now, and like I said, really kind of trying to compare it to any ukulele that I've owned or played. It always has come back to the Flight Fireball. The all solid mango of the Fireball has a beautiful kind of calming atmospheric sound to it that I adore. It was my first ukulele and is still one of, if not my most favorite flight ukuleles that exists. But the Flight Fireball is at least double the price of the Nomad. So I'm not here to convince you that the Nomad can beat the Fireball or sounds anywhere near as good as the Fireball. But if there were ever to be a Fireball Lite model, something that took all the elements of the Fireball that I adore just on a cheaper, scaled down model, then this is it. And I really think that's without sacrificing any form of elegance or anything compared to its sister, the Fireball. I don't think there's anything else in the Flight catalogue that kind of is a direct competition of the Nomad, and that's what's caught me off guard with this. I went from not knowing that this ukulele even existed to kind of thinking, oh, it must be just some filler just to put in, they've got the baritone model, we'll just kick out and make it a tenor, that's fine. And in these weeks, I've really come to appreciate what an incredible model the Nomad is. And again, not just to look at, but sound-wise, it's essentially that beautiful, calming, mellow sound that I'm so used to from my Mango. And remember, all this comes in, again, for half the price of the Fireball. We're talking €299. And again, Mango and Mahogany are going to sound different, but I will say, if you're looking for a Fireball, if you love the Flight Fireball, but you just simply cannot afford it, cannot be anywhere near that money, I would seriously check out the Flight Fireball Lite. The Flight Nomad Tenor. Thank you so much for listening to me today. If you have any comments about the Flight Nomad Tenor or any of the Flight ukuleles, then just please attack me in the comments. If you found this helpful and want to see more Flight ukulele reviews, ukulele lessons, etc., then remember to please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Okay, thank you. I'm off to play more ukulele. Bye, love you, bye.